Okay, good morning, students. So this is a continuation of our lesson last Monday. Um, Natapos na ang contracting, so we are going to do with the costing. So sa costing natin, what is it? This is the process of determining the actual cost of a tour package by detailing the various component of the package. Meaning, kung mag-ubra ikaw sang tour package, dapat may ara gid ikaw yung costing. Kay dapat mabalaan mo if you are going to earn or not based sa imo nga tour package nga kinubra. Okay, so first, mag-costing kita, we have the fixed or ang variable. So ang fixed nga costing is based ini siya sa constant pricing regardless of the number of participants. So ano ang example sang mga fixed nga costing? For example, let's say for example ang bus. Ang bus nga 45 seaters, if you are going to rent it, let's say for example i-rent mo siya. So ang bus nga 45 seaters, ang rent niya for example is $100. So regardless kung ang mapungko dira is 30 lang katawo or 45 katawo, provided nga hindi lang siya magsubra sa seats allocated, ang bayaran mo man Japon is $100. So amo sinaya ang fix. Okay, so regardless of the number of participants, ang presyo is the same man Japon. How about ang variable costing? So ang variable costing, it depends on the number of projected or proposed participant. Let's say for example, sa meals. Of course, kung 20 lang kamo, 20 lang kamo nga ma-avail sang meals, then that would be nga 20 malang ang imong bayaran. Kung 15 ka mo, 15 malang. So, variable siya. Madepende lang sa proposed participants or kung pila katawo ang imo nga kinahanglan nga bayaran. So, amo sina ang difference sang fixed or ang variable nato nga costing. Okay, let's say for example, ang transportation cost naton. Okay, so ang cost by air, sea or land to and from a point of origin to our destination or destinations and back to the point of origin. So amo gini ang pinakauna naton nga gina-consider when we are doing the costing. How much ang bayaran sang imo guest kung mag-book sila sang airline ticket, kung mag-book sila let's say sang barko or land transportation, from where? From the point of origin going to the destination, and then pagkatapos from the destination back to the point of origin. So that is ang transportation niya cost, which is dapat upod gid ini sa inyo nga costing. Actually, isa ini sa pinaka-importante because especially ang airline niya rate, it may go up and down. So nagasaka siya or nagapanaog, depende kung saan ang travel date. That is why you have to put ang costing sa transportation with utmost importance, and you also have to give a leeway. Dapat may leeway gid siya. Otherwise, kung hindi, kag nakahatag ka na sang costing and then after nagsala ang imo costing or nag-increase ang travel agency, ikaw gid ang magtabon sina. Okay, so this is an example of a fix. Okay, a fixed costing. Now, let's say for example, ang chartered transportation naman is a variable nga mavari ang presyo, sa gina-chartered ninyo nga plane depende kung pila ang masakay. Okay? Now, transfer cost. Okay, so cost of transportation to and from a destination's gateway such as airport, pier, or bus station to the place of lodging or accommodation. So, ang transfers is variable, prorated. So, ang proration is dividing the cost of a travel component or service by the number of passenger, actual or projected, availing of such service or component. Let's say, for example, ang transfer cost gani is $100 and then pagkatapos there are 10 of you. So, kung i-divide mo na ang $100 into 10, that would mean you get $10 share sa kada passenger, right? Okay. Now, ang shuttle service, which is a fix, Okay. Now, pag abot naman sa aton nga sightseeing nga tours, so the total cost of transportation within the destination to sites and sites of interest, tour guide services, entrance fees, cost of entertainment or activities, and sometimes the cost of snacks and meals. So this is also part sa inyong costing, which is included ini siya sa land arrangement naton. So sa land arrangement naton nga costing, iupod naton ini. Pila ka tourist destination ang inyong kadtuan. Okay, how much is the entrance fees? Okay, cost ng entertainment, ng activities, and sometimes the cost ng snacks, kag meals also, you have to consider that one also kung mag-ubra ikaw sa imo nga costing. Okay, so transportation, tour guide, entrance fees, activities, fixed or variable. So lang tawon niyo diri. Okay, so ang transportation within the destination, that is a variable costing siya. The tour guide is also variable. Entrance is fixed ina siya, and ang activities is fixed or variable because there are some activities nga kung mas damo, mas magabarato ang price. Pero kung gamay lang, mas mahal ang price or mas stick sila sa amo na nilang price or sa aton ginatawag nga rack rate or ang publish rate naton. Ang snack. Okay. Next is the accommodation. Okay, so please take note that the cost of lodging, depending on the number of persons occupying a room and the cost of meals served within the lodging establishment. So depende, no? So may ara kinatawag nga twin sharing, triple sharing, or quadruple sharing. So, for example, ang room will cost you 1,000 pesos. Kung duwa ka mo, then that would mean tungaon ina sa duwa ang costing. So, every traveler mabayad sang 500 pesos kada tawo. Pero kung tatlo ka mo, that would be 333 pesos. Pero kung apat ka mo, mas ma-lower down ang costing niya into 250 pesos na lang. That would be per night. So, ang accommodation is a sample of a variable nga costing because nagadepende siya sa number of person occupying the room. Okay, so for the hotel accommodation, we have the fixed kung twin sharing, hindi ka na magdugang. So kung fixed ang imo nga rate sa twin sharing, that would mean duwa ka tawo ang kinahanglan nga mag-share para nga mabuo nila ang ilang balayran sa hotel or ang balayran nila sa travel agency nga nag-book sang ilang room accommodation. Okay, meals are also fixed. How about the tour escort? Is it a fixed or a variable? Now, so cost incurred in the accommodations, meals, and some transportation components of the individual who travels with the clients from the point of origin and back. So, variable prorated na siya nga aman. Tungaon ang cost sang tour escort or ang iyang ginasukot or ang iyang fee depende on the number of travelers. So kung mas madamo, mas magabarato ang inyo man nga balayran sa tour escort, pero kung gamay lang kamo, of course, gamay lang kamo nga magtunga-tunga sang iyang fee. Okay, so okay, ang next naton is the itinerary. So ang ano ang itinerary? It is a schedule of activities and destinations arranged in a chronological order. So pasunod siya based sa pag-set up sang isa ka travel agency or sang isa ka tour operator. So we have types sang itinerary. Ang one is a skeletal itinerary or ang ginatawag natin niya simple itinerary. The itinerary may ginabutang lang dira kung diin makadto daw kin plaster lang dira but not in a very detailed manner. Okay, so ano ang skeletal itinerary? Skeletal is a proposed and preliminary schedule of activities. I'll give you an example later as I go along. Next is ang technical nga itinerary. So ano ang technical na itinerary? So it specifies the details like the scheduled transportation, arrival and departure schedule, duration of sightseeing, land travel time, type of accommodation, etc., etc. And next, we have the descriptive itinerary. So provides a narrative of the planned activities and destinations visited. So usually, sa amon, sa travel agency, what we do is a technical itinerary para may ara lang niya sang guide ang mga guest kung ano ang ilang i-expect within the day, kag kung ano ang ilang isuksok, ano ang kaunon, para at least hindi man sila yung mag-travel nga wala gid sila idea kung ano ang ilang kadtuan. So, example sang skeletal itinerary is, let's say, for example, day 1, arrival into London Heathrow Airport, sightseeing tour, check-in overnight. Pero it was not specified kung ano oras sila ma-arrive. Ma-sightseeing tour sila sa diin, wala man na-specify. Check-in what time, wala man na-specify. Day 2 is the same. Day 3 also the same. So, skeletal itinerary, at least daw may idea lang but not very detailed. On a technical itinerary naman, dira nakabutang 8 o'clock arrival into London Heathrow Airport, 11 a.m. sightseeing tour, 13 is check-in, so 13 hours, so 1 p.m. check-in, and then 9 p.m., 21 hours is overnight. Day 3, 9 o'clock, Theater Museum, 11, pre-theater dinner, and then 1 o'clock, West End Theater. Okay, and for the descriptive itinerary naman, nakabutang gidra tanan. So arrive into London Airport where you will be met by your driver for transfer into central London for panoramic sightseeing tour of the city to include the major site. Check in at your centrally located hotel and this will be your base for the next 3 nights. So if you can see, may ara kita nga skeletal, technical, and then descriptive. Usually, in our case, we do the technical itinerary because nga, if you do the descriptive itinerary and then ang imo nga tour is, let's say, 8 days, 7 nights, or sometimes 10 days, 9 nights, tamaan kadamo sang imo nga inugsulat. So, for as long as may ara lang nga idea ang imong mga guests kung ano oras maabot, diin makadto, diin ma-check-in, you will be fine. So, there will be no problem about that. Okay? And then, for our quotation. So, sa ato naman nga quotation, we are going to discuss this sa aton nga next na naman nga video recording.